Hello, hello. Hey, everybody. How's it going today? Hope you all are having a good day. Uh, and welcome to part three of the mobile development track. Hope you all have been following this journey. Hello to everybody who has not been, and you can still join us. And we're going to touch different things in different streams, so you're not really going to miss out on too much stuff that we've done. Really excited to be back. Today is a midnight stream for me, so I'm very excited to be doing something super late at night for me. So hope the stream goes well and there are like no problems. But how are you all feeling about the third part of mobile development? Let me know in the comments. I already see some excitement here, so really, really glad to see that. Because today we're going to be touching on the exciting part of connecting our app with a proper database. So yeah, let's get started and let's go. And hope it all, like I said, hope it all goes well. So last time where we left is we created a mobile app. We also created another screen with a dialog box, but since that doesn't require a database as of now, let's look at this page. Right now we can see that we have a list which is actually getting fetched from local variables that we have. And what we now want to do is we want to connect our whole app with a database and make sure that the list that we have here is coming from there. So that itself is going to be a huge challenge, just connecting everything and initializing things properly. So let's hope all of this goes well and let's get started with doing this. So I mentioned this in stream one. The three main things that we used over the period so far, what we've used has been Figma and Flutter. And today we'll be using Firebase because Flutter works pretty well and smoothly. It integrates with Firebase. It's a pretty good choice, and hope things go smoothly for us too, since the way it's been built is pretty sophisticated. So there is a package called Flutter Fire, which contains all the different plugins to connect our Flutter application with Firebase. So we'll go through this documentation to make sure that we're doing everything that's all right. So one thing before we connect our Firebase project with our Flutter app, it's important that we have a Firebase app or a project to begin with. So we'll do that, but once we can get this installation started, because it's going to take a little bit of time, not a lot, but just so that we're not wasting any time there, let's add it here, and let's just stop this for now. And we're adding the package that's Firebase core, and let's go ahead and create a new Firebase project. So how many of you have worked with Firebase before, and how many of you have like no prior experience with it whatsoever? So basically this is the Firebase console, and we can just create a new project and give it a name as needed. um, yes, so we don't really need analytics right now, so we just close this, and it's going to quickly create a project for us. So for people who are not aware about what Firebase is, it's mostly like a backend as a service, you can say that. So you don't really have to host a server of your own, and you can do a lot of database mutations directly using the API that's provided through Firebase. So makes it pretty sweet and neat. It's a very expensive service, which is why we mostly on a hacker level use it for prototyping. And now, as you can see, it tells you that you can get started by adding your apps for whatever purpose. And here we can see there are different kind of things, different services that's provided to you. That's authentication, Firestore database, real time. You can see like a bunch of stuff that's happening here. So what we're going to use today is Cloud Firestore. It's a non-relational database. So it has a table. It has a more of a object structure that's similar to a NoSQL database, but you can still structure things pretty neatly, I would say. So Firestore is a pretty good option for our use case right now. So it should be good. Okay, while this is provisioning us our database, we have installed our plugin. Let's look at the next step in the process, and we see that we have to install a global CLI. So let's do that. Um, Okay, this is also going to take a little bit time here. And yeah, as you can see, we have started a Cloud Firestore project. And right now, this is empty. It has no collections. And what we want to do is we want to create a collections which would be users, because that's the list that we're displaying if we come right here. So I'm going to give a little bit of background for people who actually don't know what application we were building. So we were trying to build a very basic version of. Let me try to open it right here. Visuals are better than. Yes. Okay. Let's look at it. Probably in the wrong Figma account. But let's hope not. Meanwhile, here we create our users a collection, and let's maybe leave. We can't leave it. Let's do it auto ID and we save it. Yes. So definitely the wrong account. Let's go back to the right one. It's okay. This happens when you have a million email IDs that you use a certain service with. Okay. So coming to Firestore, you can create a collection, and every collection can have a list of documents inside of it. Now, every document can then inside of it have different fields. Those fields can have values, but at the same time, you can also start sub collections inside of it. So, if any of you have worked with any kind of non sequential database, maybe if you worked with MongoDB, you'll notice that this is a very similar concept of documents collections and then embedded documents that you would have seen before. So now we have our users, and if we come to what we have here, the three important things that we are looking at right now, so we can just limit our database to it, and there are always more bells and whistles that can be added to it as per the need. So the fields that we need are the first name, or we can just say name. What we need after that is the image URL, and the third thing that we need is the languages that are spoken by the person, but we need this to be an array of strings. So we'll keep it that. Right now, we're just creating empty fields to sort of get an understanding of what the structure might look like. So we have a users collection here where every document has a unique ID here, and then we give them a name, language, and image URL. So we can create some dummy data right here, and then we can use that to sort of make sure that our database connects properly with our application. Meanwhile, let's hope here that Figma loads up. For some reason today it has decided that it's not its day. Okay, take 3, and this time we're hoping that everything works fine. All right, so we are authenticated. Congratulations, and here is our project. So what we were trying to build was this application where you can sort of sign up, mention languages you're good at, languages that you might want to learn, and then find other people who know those languages and then chat with them, and maybe practice having conversations in a language you want to learn. So that that was that. So this is the page that we are trying to bring to life as of now. We have all of this ready, and now we're working on the database. All right, so here is our users document, and let's first see. Okay, we were trying to add this global package for the Flutter Fire CLI, and we can see here that that's done. So let's go to our next steps and see what we should be doing now. So we have added this, we've added the Firebase core package, and now what we need to do is we need to configure Flutterfire. So let's go ahead and do that. Flutterfire not found, but here it says it activated Flutter. Okay, but right here we see that it still needs us to export the path for it. So let's do that, and now this should work. Okay. Requires official Firebase CLI to be installed. Okay. So we see that we don't have the official Firebase CLI on our system. So let's go ahead and install that. So for Mac OS, this is a simple script. We can just copy and paste it here. Then we'll have to log in and stuff like that to make sure that it can, all right, make sure that it can actually configure us with the right project, and it'll add a lot of stuff on its own. So that's the benefit of using Flutterfire. So yeah, folks, tell me about the experience that you have with Firebase so far, and in what capacity have you used it? I would be curious to know what kind of audience we have here and the kind of experiences you've had with it while we wait for our CLI tools to be installed. Okay. Yes. Wonderful. Okay, that was fast-ish. It's still installing. Another step that we might have to do is we'll have to log in, and yeah, hopefully once we log in, there won't be other steps required there. Yes, nearly there. Okay. Perfect. So now let's try to first do, we know that we need to do Firebase login, and we will allow, okay. Now we can just log in here, and okay, so here we have connected our Firebase account with our CLI, and now we can go ahead and try to run Flutterfire configure and hope that it can read. Okay. So it's now trying to get all the Firebase projects that we have. We don't want to create a new project, so we just go ahead and select a project that we want to work with. So it's called Language Tandem, and we go ahead, and our configuration needs to support Android and iOS since we're not building a web or a desktop app. So yes, I think that sounds about right. Oh, I selected Android. Oh no. Okay, selected Android and iOS, yes. Because we're testing it in an iOS simulator, so that's the only configuration I will do. We'll just use the, okay, let's give it an example. Uh, language dot language tandem dot mlh. Mm, perfect. Okay. Now it's trying to register Firebase iOS. Okay. Hello, it's no worries. We are just getting started, and what we're trying to do here is connect our Firebase project with a Flutter application, and we're trying to do very simple stuff. That is, just we're going to take this list of users, and we're going to make sure that it's getting fetched from the Firestore database. Yes. So that's happening there. What languages are we using to write the code? If we're using Dart, and we are on the Flutter um, framework. Yeah. Okay. So let's look at what we got. So we can see a Firebase options file, but we can also see that there are plenty of error messages here. And what is the reason for that? Let's go and see. Looks like it can't find Firebase core. Yeah, so that means that our initial installation did not go as expected. So we can see um, that, let's go in the, like in our main file, which is going to be the pub spec. No, um, packages. Well, I guess it's the, no. not these files that we're looking for. We just need the pub spec. I think it's the YAML. Yeah, okay. So here on the dependencies, we can see that we have a Firebase core. So this error message is a little bit absurd because technically it should have been there. So let's see if it suggests us any way of fixing it. Okay. And here, if we just all right, so it doesn't show up. Interesting error that should not be here in the first place. So let's try to okay, let's try to run this app once and see if that fixes things. Else we can do like a pub get, and that might ensure that it downloads any missing packages that it does not have and are already in the pub spec file. Okay, we have Cocoa Pods error. So flutter pubget. Yeah. All right. Looks like the problem's resolved. And it was a minor issue. Okay. Now let's try to run our app and see how that's going. Okay. So once we've done that, now we need to like make sure that we have our configuration here, but we also want to. Okay. More errors. Very exciting stuff. Okay. That response. Okay, so it looks like the plugin that we installed right now, it won't work if we don't have the cacao pods in place. So we first need to go and install them. So if you want to do that, we can hopefully just do this, and that should be fine. Okay. So this installs, and then we can get started. Bug fixing time. Yes, it always is bug fixing time on live stream. You can never not be fixing bugs. All right. So installations. This stream definitely requires the most installations I've done in a while. So now we try to run Flutter, and will it accept our previous installation? Let's see. Let's hope for the best. Currently the project is not on Git, unfortunately. So yeah, sadly I won't be able to provide any Git link, but I can do that straight away. Right after I fix this very big error. Okay. Inspecting targets to integrate. I hope that. Okay. Can't seem to find the right error message that can probably help us out here. Okay. So installed this. Okay. Automatically assigning platform with version on target runner because okay. But is that the error? Interesting. Let's go see where this lies. So sorry, going to address this real quick. Will we be here to fix the bug? Yes, because since this is a part of development and developing, there's no point in skipping through it, because this is the real soul of uh, why problems exist and like how we can go about to like solving it. Unfortunately, this stream is going to be about fixing this problem right now. Okay, so we get this error and it says that we might want to specify it in our pod file, but it's a little hard to understand where this pod file exists. So let's go back to our Flutter error and the link that it provided us there. So, okay, it sort of before. Okay, so for more info, we can go here and conflict resolutions, package versions. Okay, nope. Okay, so Flutter Fire with iOS app. Okay, let's see if there's anything specific that it might want us to do with your. Okay, so one thing that we haven't done so far is we haven't connected our Firebase project with our iOS application. So we will need to do that. So, okay, let's come here on our thing, and on the project overview, we add an app, which is an iOS app, and we give it name and okay, and then we register this app, and then there are going to be more steps that we have to do. So we download this configure file that we will be using later. And okay, so then I'm not sure if we need to go to Xcode specifically to do this. So let's go back to our guide here. Okay, the iOS bundle ID must match your local. Oh, that is not the case right now. So we might have to undo that. All right, so let's do this. Okay, so we will first. Okay, so let's go check our general ID, our bundle ID, which we can easily find under preferences here, guessing. And general, no, these are the editor settings, appearances, and okay. Where exactly did the bundle name go? This is the Firebase options. Okay, sorry, pub spec. This is language tandem. Nope. Okay. Let's see. Android Studio get, what was it? It's called bundle, right? Yes, local project bundle. Just project options. Okay. There are no project options. Interesting. Yeah, that's the interesting part. It's usually a part of the code, which we can also sort of get since we have the build Gradle here. And then we should have, this again does not have the bundle name. Oh, yeah, only the dependencies and Gradle properties. Nope, nope, nope. All the wrong files. Very interesting. Okay, maybe it's time to give up and open Xcode. Had been trying to not get into that because I'm not sure if it can support if my system can take having Xcode, Android Studio, and an emulator along with Livestream open at the same time. Okay, let's do this. Okay. All right. Just I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a small second, and we will open the screen and then we get to it. Let's go here. Yep. Okay. It's going to take a while. Just a very minor glitch. I'm going to fix this super soon. Okay, I'm back. Yes. All right. Hoping that this here. Okay, sorry. Share screen and yes. Okay, so we have it open here, and now I hope that we can find the most basic thing, which is the local project bundle ID. So it can be found within the general tab. Again, all right, the general tab and the bundle identifier. Perfect. So this needs to be the exact same as the Firebase project. So we need to go back and we need to create, we need to sort of delete this. Let's see if we can. Oh, we don't need to. Yeah, we'll have to remove this app since we can't update the bundle ID here. So now we create a new iOS app and we give it this bundle ID. Everything else is optional, so we let it be. Okay. Once it creates it, we now get the new config file and we go here. So we go to file and then we say add package, which seems to be not there. Add package is add package dependency. Is that what it means? Probably. Yes. Okay. Let's see. Swift packages and add package dependency. And yes, the URL is here. And there we go. Let's hope it finds it. Yes. Select the SDK version. Yes. Perfect. Choose the Firebase libraries that you want to use. We're just going to use Firestore. That's it. Nothing else that we're going to use today. So it should be fine. Taking a sweet minute as it goes. Any of you are trying to integrate Firebase into your applications right now? Or are you just going to watch me do it and run into a million errors while I do that? I see. Nice. I think I've done it like multiple times in web apps, and yet there would be every time you start configuring a database with your app and you run into some new error that you haven't run into before. And it's just 10 times worse when you're doing mobile app development because for some reason there's just So much stuff that goes wrong or changes constantly in this field can be very frustrating, but exciting and rewarding at the same time when you get to see something on a simulator or on your devices. Okay, this is taking quite a long time, and unfortunately, there is nothing else that we can really do in that time. So I'm going to let it take its sweet time. And I'm going to use this opportunity to quickly take a small break and get myself a glass of water, since I forget to keep that next to me. And I will be back in 5 minutes. So let's take a 5 minute small break and hope it also resolves our repository in that meanwhile. So hello, hello, I'm back already. It is taking surprisingly long for it to. Okay, looks like it's trying to fetch all the packages. Either way, okay. So let's try to add the basic code. In meanwhile, so let's go to our app delegate class. Okay, so it is resolving stuff. Stuff is changing. Good to see that. So we're not just sitting idly waiting for one repository to get resolved. Looks like I can still touch the code here on Android Studio, though definitely it's easier to change it there. Okay, so the changes that we want to bring to it are we want to import Firebase and add that here. And the other thing that we want to do is we want to call Firebase app.configure inside this function. And we do it at the very beginning. So, yep, this should be mostly our configuration once we get this resolved. Okay, so all the libraries that we need to use are Firebase Firestore. I don't want to leave anything behind. I'm just going to choose these extra libraries just in case to be sure. Uh, but yeah, that's all we'll be needing today since we're only connecting it with Firestore. Okay, so as soon as it resolves it, we should have successfully added our Firebase project to the iOS app, which is a step that we were missing previously. And next, okay. According to this, after this, we should be all set. But it's still indexing, so I'm going to give it a small second uh, to be safe, to be sure. We can select all just to be safe. If only we could just select all the services that Firebase has to offer. Yes, okay. So that must be it, and we save our app delegate file here, and let's try to give it a run now. Fingers crossed. Surprised to see an error with the Android app now, though. But since I'm not running and testing it, I'm skipping that part. But if you're building an Android app, you still have to follow the steps to add a Firebase project, which is for an Android app, to your app here, else you won't be able to connect it. So how it would go is you're here, you're on your Firebase console, sorry, you go back to your console, you're on your project, and then here you see that now you have an Android project. But if you didn't have an Android project, you would add one here. So that's how it would go. You can't, and then you have this project and you try to configure it, you download like the configuration file and everything. And yes, now I feel like I might have missed a very tiny step. Okay, so I'm just going to, because I just realized that I installed the config file, but I didn't put it in the directory that it should have gone into. Yes, we put it in the root of your root of our Xcode project. Okay, perfect. That sounds about right. So this would be the root, I guess, inside runner. We just put it inside the project. Okay, so all right. This is now where we need to bring our file into. So we had this configuration file that we downloaded, and it's the second one that we need. So we go ahead and we put it here in the root. Though it didn't reach there. So let's try again. Right, app delegate is here, so just here. Okay, so now something here, and the instructions said, let's come back to the instructions. Yep. And add it to all targets. So add to targets, there's just one target to add to, and yep, that's all the settings we will be changing. We will definitely rename it if it's possible. Okay, let's hope that the naming doesn't cause an issue, because you know what, to be on the safe side, let's not risk it. Let's come to our finders, and all right, I will again for, yes, let's get out of the stream first, and our Google files. Okay, so this is pretty slow, but it's all okay. All right, and then this one. Strange things happening. Okay, yep. All right, now we have added our file to the runner, and it's there. Okay, we're all good to go again. So now we have the file here, we've installed the right repositories, we've changed app delegate. Okay, yeah, we've imported Firebase here, as well as we've initialized the app. So I would say that covers all the instructions that we've received about creating an application so far. So let's see how Flutter, okay, yeah, now we should do Flutter run. since we now have the configurations in there. All right. Launching in debug mode. I don't think we've reached this far before, so that seems like maybe a positive sign. Let's hope for the best. Okay, running pod install. Yes. Looks like we haven't sorted the issue of the pods yet. Very interesting error that these pods present. Please specify a target in your pod file. So here's a pod file. Uncomment this line to define. Okay, and let's make it 8.0 to be safe. And what if I run it now? Or maybe I should have made it 8.4 since that's the version we picked here. It's okay, we shall see. Else we can always make an Android app and open an Android emulator if worst comes to worst. Okay, looks like I'm going to give it one last go, see if it's possible to fix it. Yeah. Yes. Okay. We could just use 9.0 here, which is the default. And I still don't understand why it wouldn't. Okay, service info, do we have the right project bundle ID? Let's see. So this bundle ID should be the same as the one here. General. Build settings. Technically, this is what we copied earlier, and looks like things are not going much in our favor with this today. Error output. Okay, we have some error output. Maybe we can try. Okay, yes. So this certainly is a different error, so we can definitely try to go and see why this exists. Obviously, that was a long shot. Symbol not found and require symbol not found. It's hard to definitely debug this on relatively shorter notice. So let's try to see if we can make our Android build work. So we can do similar things. We can go and make sure that we have an Android app to get started. So we just add app, go to Android. Now here also is going to say the same thing. Go to your build.gradle and get the application.id. So let's come here. We're going to build.gradle, and this is not the build.gradle we need. Nope. Gradle wrapper properties. Nope. It is strange to not see a package name here. Flutter. feel like we've corrupted this project somehow, and I don't even know how that happened. Okay, so let's try to see again that we are reaching the right files. Is generally the application ID in the app level. I don't think much should change in your app level build or Gradle. I see. We were looking at the wrong file. App level build or Gradle. And then we just look for the application ID. Application ID, and here we go. So this is our package name, and all of this straight up the same. Entity already exists. It turns out a project was created for our Android, but we can't see it here. Okay, shows 4 apps, and here is the Android one. And okay, let's go take a look at it. So now let's look at the instructions. We download this JSON into your Android app module node directory. Okay, so here we are. I think this is where it needs us to go. Yep. Nope. Cradle. Yeah, that's exactly where it needs to go. So we just take this file and okay, nope. Android Studio, where did it go? And come on here, and yep, off we go. Yes, we move it here and we have it. Voila. Next step is we add Firebase Sdk. So there are several changes that we need to do on different levels. We go to our build.gradle in the project first. So that's the one we were in. And in build script, this is we add under repositories. We already have Google since we're using Flutter. And this is something we didn't have, so we can go ahead and add this. Then other things that we need to add is we also need to add the repository for all projects, which is again, it already exists. Now we go to the app level build Gradle, since we have 2 build or Gradles, and then we apply these files. Okay. Apply. Okay, that's already there. Apply this line, sorry, Google services. And then this other line, which is going to be the implementation platform. So dependencies, yes. And here we have another dependency. Okay. So press sync now that appears here. Open for editing in Android Studio. I mean, it's already in Android Studio, but okay. Where would you like to open this project? New window, I guess. Yep. All right. So we don't see an option to sync it, but let's see. Maybe if we open the Android project as a separate project, that'd be a way to sync it, sync all our properties. Yep. So Gradle project sync is in progress. So this should technically go and sync all the changes that we've made right now. All right. So the next step here then would be, That'll be the last step that was there. Okay. So now we need to use one of the Android devices that we have. Once it downloads Gradle, we can then test it on Android. Yes. Hoping for it to build safely. Yes, testing soon. There's no bugs. Yes, one can only hope for that to happen. But that's definitely wishful thinking when it comes to mobile app development. Especially with different platforms, with things changing, it's just inevitable that you get errors or bugs of some sort, and you have to fight through them and then get your code to work. So yeah, we give Gradle its time. Can usually be lengthy. Yes. That is a ton of stuff that it's. In the meanwhile, we can go ahead and open our enable to locate ADB. Perfect. That's our Android emulator right there. Now I'm really pushing it too far. Now I have two emulators open with a live stream. Let's see how far my system will. Let's see how far it can take it. Yes. Amulet spirit within. Yes. That's the hope here. But I have heard of there being issues on the M1 processor. So yeah, you can never be completely sure that's going to work. Okay. So this was our project. It's building model. Okay. Pixel is starting and our project is building. So let's go. Okay, now it's scanning files to index, and hopefully we will not see. Still the baby one. It's the first one. Okay, indexing. Good to see that. And is our emulator ready? Looks half ready. Yeah, okay, it's ready. So as soon as the dependencies are indexed, we can then change the source here to this, and I can try to do a Flutter run now, maybe. Or I would just give it a second and let it finish indexing. Mm, perfect. All right. Let's go and see if we can make it over on the Android. Still waiting to see the first line pop up here. Okay, please choose one. So we choose the first one. And now we're hoping for Android to not mess up anywhere. Warnings. Okay. As is the norm. That's perfectly normal. All right. Slow and steady. Yes. Okay. So far, what application are you folks building if you're building any? Or what ideas do you have in mind to build uh, later this weekend or later this month? Are there any mobile application ideas that are sort of, that you want to try out and see how it would be to build them? Do we have any thoughts there? Unfortunately, we don't have anything else to do while we wait for it to run and build. And as we know from experience, Android apps can take a while to just build. Looking to work on a mobile version of my favorite. I want to say GIF, but then I want to just say GIF. I'm going to stick with GIF builder. So what what does your favorite GIF builder look like, or what does it do? And I hope these just stay limited to the warnings that we have and nothing more. Okay, we can see things are looking rather dark here. It's indexing. Okay, so let's look at the Yiffy. Okay. So how do you plan to build the mobile version for this? Do you plan to do it? Do you have any prior experience? Do you plan to do it on a cross platform framework like Flutter or React Native, or do you plan to build it like natively using Kotlin or Swift? Any thoughts there on what you're planning to do with this? Hmm. Okay, at least it built. So that's a good sign. That's a good sign here. So far, the first good sign we've seen. That seems like a good idea. Hope you don't run into any pod issues. And if you do, I hope you're able to sort them out sooner or later. So it looks like it was able to build the application and it's now going to try to install it on the emulator. So that's good news all over. Yes, you can always reach out to me to get help for debugging. Yes. Debugging all the way. Though it surprises me how quickly the apps were loading and working when we were on the iOS simulators. It was just taking like 2 seconds, and the app would download and run, and it's just so slow compared when you compare an iOS development with Android. But then we did run into a pod error that we couldn't solve right now. Yeah, you can always reach out to me on my Twitter handle, which is Manya_AG. Uh, yeah, that's a safe place to reach out to me. Um, I don't respond to Discord messages so promptly, so not really the best place. Okay, let's hope this installs. Though installation is usually not the trickier road, so hoping that should be fine. Right. Twitter link. Yes, for sure. Here you go. Twitter. What is the Twitter? I think this should be it. So the interesting thing, I mean, we can connect to mobile to test, but right now the delay that we have, it's the build time and the installation time, and I don't think it would matter so much if we changed the device. Also, I don't have an Android device on me, so unfortunately, I can't test it that way. Yes, okay. So installation should have been complete now, and it will very soon try to open it up. Hmm. And it's definitely way past my bedtime, also at this point. Okay. Yep. And not much we have to do here. Let's look at the other steps that we might have to do once we're able to make all of this work. Right now, we finished the configure step, which built like a configuration file for our Firebase project. Now we'll have to initialize our Firebase project on Flutter as well. So we might have to do something like when we're on main, uh, we we add these 3 lines of code to it more. So syncing files, and it looks like we've done it. It's open on Android, and the code that we have seems to be working. We can't see any changes right now, obviously, but we can be ensured that all the configuration changes that we did make to our Android code are indeed working. So let's move on to the next steps. Yay, finally. So let's come to main.dart and initialize our Firebase project there. So just import these 2 packages, just copy them, and we come here the and then in the main function we want to uh, use just this. And this should, voila, we need to make it async as well. And this should be the beginning to initialize. Yes. So now we're ready to use Flutterfire. And there are now other stuff. So what we need to look at is Cloud Firestore. So let's look at how Cloud Firestore can work for us. So we need to add this dependency. We've already done Firebase core and everything, so we don't need to worry about that. But let's just go ahead and add this too. Okay. Let's do this. So unfortunately, I don't have Flutter on my Bash profile, which I probably should have at this point. So let's go here and export paths is equals to path pwd/flutter. Okay, wrong. Those are the right ones. Back and forth between Windows and Linux doesn't do well. Okay, I think this should. Sorry. What was the path? I'm missing the path here. Okay. Just a second. Okay, my system has now considerably slowed down, and I might have to close one of the emulators. Okay, no, we wait for this system process to happen. We can't close the Android emulator since that's the only one that's working. So we wait. Yes, and we gave it back the access. And we come back here and let's see. All right. Okay. So projects. Yep, here we go. I forgot that we're not sharing. Okay. Green one. So we just do pub add here, right here. And once we've done that, we run this again to rebuild our Flutter app. We actually can just do R there. Okay. Perfect. So we see that those dependencies changed, and let's rebuild this here. So we can do like a hot reload by just doing R, pressing R on the keyboard, and that should help to rebuild the whole thing. Okay, still performing reload. All right, going to take a minute. Then, okay, then let's look at the usage document and how it will get used in the project. Here we see an overflow, so we can go and fix that. Let's go to our users.dat, and we give a height here. We can reduce it so that there's no overflow being caused, and just perform a reload again. All right. So reloads are significantly slower here. They're actually faster earlier. So yeah, we can actually go ahead and start adding code to our project files that are going to need it. And yeah, we'll just hope that when it does reload, it was able to get the changes that were needed earlier. Okay, so now we have imported Cloud Firestore, and yeah, let's do the other stuff. Create an instance, and okay. You must have ensured you've initialized Flutterfire. We've done that. Now we create new of this, and so right now we're all doing it in user screen state. Technically, we would do it in sort of a different file, but since we're only trying to demo the list here, it doesn't matter that much. We have an import error, which means that we still need to do a Flutter pub get, and it didn't really. Okay, so we need to close it right here. Let's do a pub get. Yes, this should fix our dependency error up there. Yes, perfect. Fixed that as well as the other squiggly lines we were getting. And yes, now all we need to do is Flutter run again. Okay, now it's going to take forever too, but it's definitely going to take less time since it already has some cache to make use of and increase the speed. Meanwhile, we can use this time to add our further code and then test it all together. Okay, so let's come here and let's see what we have. So we want to use collections and documents. So we can look at this example here, where we just take the Firestore instance and we take, and our collection is also called users. Actually, we can just copy this word to word, and that'll work for us. And so we just take this, and inside our build function, we use it. Okay. All right. Once we have the users here, obviously in the example, we're talking about adding users, but we just want a list. So we talk about the read. We can so a Firestore gives us the option that we can have listeners on it, so we can get more real-time data depending on what changes or actions happen, or we can also do a one-time read. So right now, let's just stick to a one-time read and see that works. So we can so what we can take reference from here is that what we need is a future builder. So futures in Dart are similar to promises in JavaScript, and so we need something that that's able to build an executor code after we know that an asynchronous process has been completed. So it calls itself like a future builder. Yes. So trying to run this here, and meanwhile we need to create a function like this. uh, Technically now future builder will become like a part of technically should become a part of our widget, so we'll need to put it there. So let's come here and see. Okay, we have an exception, an error. Let's see what brought that on us. Okay, requires a higher SDK version. Won't be available. I mean, that doesn't matter. But okay, sure, let's fix that. So we go to our apps, build our Gradle, and here where they have minimum SDK version. Okay, so we will not look at Flutter's given version here, and we'll put our own. So 19, we do that, and now we go again and try to build it. All right, so we have that in place. Let's come here. Okay, let's first do like a blind. No, let's not do a blind copy paste. Okay, that wouldn't be the best idea. So we do a future builder here. Okay. Oh no, this is the build file. And we need to come to the users file. Okay. So we need to replace this list view builder with basically our new stuff. So yeah, let's do that. Nope, this is extremely laggy and slow right now, and definitely not. Yes, okay. There we go. And now we make a future builder here. Okay. And the kind of future builder that it is, it's a document snapshot. Okay, so we need actually something like this, because this query is going to get so here is a collection and it's going to get all the users, whereas in the query that we were seeing above, it requires us to give a specific document ID to it, and then it would give us the users. So we need something like this, but we also need it in the context of Flutter and the widgets that we already have in place. So let's try to see an example here if we can find one, else we will figure our way around. Yeah. Mm. Here, this is actually a way of typing it more strictly and creating proper models out of it. Uh, we would definitely do that if we have a little bit more time. But right now, our main priority is going to be just querying and getting all the data that we can. So, yeah, this is our one time read, and let's do this. This particular query, we can take this and see if this works. Okay, we want to add multi-text support. Let's go. Multi-text enabled. And so, all right, we are on users dart. So we're first going to wait for the build to get completed and then try to edit code, else it just confuses, well, see, the editor. So let's see if I can try to, okay. And then the future here is this. I think .get should be enough here in this particular scenario. And then the builder here is going to be oh right. We're actually we're getting document argument type. Query snapshot of map string. Okay, let's get that here. And I think it's the first time I'm hearing the fans of my laptop actually at work. So, well, it's good to hear them. And okay, this approach I definitely cannot use it here since we're trying to use a builder. And yeah, that wouldn't really go with. Okay, so what's the stuff that's causing the heat up so much? It's actually, yeah, I've never seen the MacBook actually get hot, the new ones. All right, let's see. A nice example here so we can use and understand and see how it works. Yep. And these are queries. What we need is a stream builder. We can use that too. And that's probably, yes, this looks closer to what we are trying to achieve. Yes. But here it's definitely, I am pushing it to the max. Yes, that is for sure. There is no denying that. Okay, so stream builder. Actually, I can make my and everybody's life a little easier right now if I just make a more specific request. Okay, so right now I'm just going to leave it here so that it doesn't give us errors. And yeah, let's come back to our case. Since we can use future builders with lists, so builder with list, clutter, and store. So I'm pretty sure we're going to get like a very accurate example of what we're trying to achieve here. And yes, that can really help our life out. But no, this I made it look too simple. That is not what we're after. We want a little bit of Firebase there as well. So let's check this out. Okay. So we will have to go with the future builder. I mean, I didn't ever think that we could ever not get away with like not using it. But let's try to so let's try to create a function here that actually returns, and we can maybe get rid of this. Wow, so much space now. Okay, so we can get widget, get users, and okay, so if we just take this example and mend it as per our requirements, or we can actually write this whole thing depending on what we need. So we need a future builder, and it's obviously going to have a future as well as a builder. The name suggests the future, and the future in this case, in their case, is this. And all right, so we await and we make this async. Okay. Maybe we don't need to make it async. So we take Firestore and then we do .app, I'm guessing. .connect collection directly, we can do that? Really? Okay. No, wait. Firestore Firestore.instance. Yes. So apparently we can directly do add collection collection users, and then we just do .get. This should get us all of them. Yep. And we know this is async. All right. So that's our future. And for our builder, we can see here we have a bunch of stuff. Okay. If I get this right, this has to be. Now we have context, which is our builder context, and the snapshot that we are getting from here. And okay, so this is just stuff we can take. Yep. And if that's not the case, then we return our list view builder. This is all quite helpful actually. This view builder would end here. Okay. Now what we have is an item builder, and every item We have a document snapshot where the document just takes the snapshot.data, which is a function, and then it takes the docs from it. Cannot be, it can be null, that's true, but we can probably, yeah, fix that. Then we return a list title, which is not what we want to do. So in our case, we return a user profile card, and yeah, we already have stuff there. So we take document dot name, document dot image URL. Okay, so document still does not have the data that we need. So yeah, that is how we fix this. Yep. Why is this error existing here? Null check. Done. Then what's the error here? Come on, can't be serious. I'll just do a dot name here and add a null check. No, sorry, null check. Okay, what's the problem? Interesting. Just ignore that then. Data, and we have image URL again, and I will just dot to string, since we want to do that. Since the data that's going to come from Firebase is going to actually be an array, user profile card, and there this would end. Okay, so item, okay. The only error that we can't seem to fix is nope. No, this is not something that, okay. So maybe snapshot dot data changed. We can look at the documentation for document snapshot actually. Or we can go here. Dot data. Okay, there can be various definitions to it. Maybe this should be this. Okay, this. Interesting. So we clearly don't need any of this code. We can just delete this. We had a multiple list example somewhere here. Yep. So let's see if there's something like require data from snapshot that we can have. So what we have so far is a specific snapshot. We do get that, and we are trying to run a condition through it. And let's try this. Let's try to get the data out of the snapshot. That is something that works. Okay, then we probably don't need this. And this should then work. I see. Okay. Data.size is okay. So Not exactly what we can do. Because, well, yeah, we're trying to do something a little bit different than what we have there. That really wouldn't solve our problem. Why does Android Studio think that this would solve our problem? Okay, so let's see where exactly the error exists. According to it, correcting. Okay. So no, not this. Or was the article that we were looking at, was it an old article? Relatively old now, since Flutter has gone through changes. Yeah, it's a little hard to get this view builder with Firebase. So we can come back to Flutter Fire View with Firestore now. We need an official example which would come back to this one. Okay, so a single movie row, movie details, movie titles, list of all genres. Okay. No, not. Okay. So we have a movie ref which we can just say use till there, and then we have maybe one thing that we can maybe try to do here is before we use anything, let's if we just give it to count 1 for now. This is very experimenting with it technically, but yeah. Okay, so if we just print snapshot.data and see what it will give us. That could technically work, couldn't it? Return text. It needs to return something here. And what does print want? Yeah, that's okay. And we haven't run our app in a while, so let's go back to doing that. And so we don't have a device selected. So strange. Oh, it can't find our Android emulator after all the work that went into opening it. Interesting. Apple Cradle. Okay, let's Android Store and let's see if this can. That is very interesting that it doesn't see a simulator that's already open. Maybe it needs I don't want to close and open it again, but that seems like the only option right now. Okay, we're listening to you. We're saving a snapshot so that the RAM usage is low, or so once it's closed, we'll have the opportunity to turn it back up again. Okay. Web development is all about patience, is also something we're learning today. Sorry, app development is also something about patience. Well, that is going to take forever, is it not? But technically, the error that we're getting right now, we should not be getting it. And yeah, then it should just be a matter of us calling get users here. And yeah, pretty much, this should pretty much do it. All right. So yes, we were able to successfully close it. Now let's go back and open the devil up. Play. It's okay. Okay, perfect. Now let's see. Yes, it can at least see that we have an Android emulator, and now we can Flutter run. Little bit better performance we're seeing right now. That's good to see. And what we would want to do actually, since we have a bit of time to spend, is actually put some dummy data on our database because we don't have anything on there so far. So let's go to Firestore and let's fix that. Okay, image URL is, we'll come to it in a second. Here, let's start putting values. And should allow me to add more fields there. Okay. Perfect. And we need an image URL, so that we already have. Oh, now we're back to building, so it's getting. Or we can just always use our default image URL. Yes. So we have one document, we can add others. And okay, slow and steady. All right. So again, we have the same fields, name, languages, which is an array, and the values are string, say Korean and English and Mandarin. Okay, and that would be, I mean, I can add image URL and leave it empty. Would be it. We can add one more. Oh, sorry. Auto ID this. Name. Field it's an array again. So Italian and Spanish. One more field, which is the majority, and save. So now we have 3 fields here, and now it's building it again. It's going to install it. It's going to take its own time. So let's first see what values we're getting from snapshot.data and see how we can then use it to structure our query in a way that we get exactly what we need to be displayed. And it'll also help us test this whole future builder and then have it nest a list view builder pattern as well. So this is all we have here to wait for the building of this app. All right, installing very soon. And perfect. Okay, we should have it come up here anytime soon. Maybe doing too much work. Okay. All right. So we can see that it did not display anything, which is I guess okay. It printed this, so now we need to find our print statement, which should print snapshot.data. We can actually also, this is again not the best way of doing things. We can just change here to have snapshot.data and then just reload this whole thing and see if it can give us an okay. What we can do is, in case it's not a string, we can always tell it to be like, hey, can you just be a string later on, and then just remove this const modifier from here. Okay, so yeah, looks like that might work, and we reload it. Now I hope when they say hot reload, it's actually like quick. Okay, so there wasn't that was very unfortunate and sad. Was it not? Okay, so when we wanted to print it here, did it print a version of this? Prints the same thing for us as well. So again, doesn't help us much, but is it not able to really access doc 0 data dot name. That seems a little bit strange to me. That wouldn't be possible. Okay. Let's see if we can get a list of says mission data. Doesn't really take you anywhere, does it? It gave us a JSON query snapshot. Okay, So let's try to see what all that can give us. JSON query snapshot. Why is it trying to open Twitter? Not what we're trying to do here. Okay, now we wait a whole minute for our rainbow circle to go away. Okay, let me try on a separate window then, if this won't work. Yes, so we were trying to look for JSON query snapshot in Flutter. Maybe we can find something. Yes. Okay. Probably we found a solution that seems to work for certain people. So while it's not, now it does allow us to access until data, and then from there it's going to error there, and hopefully this can work. Does this work? And let's go back to our original docs.length and this, and add a null check. Does that fix things for us? Nope. We are back to same old. Okay, no worries. We can still try to see if just this works and what we have so far. Nope. Wait, why won't it? What's your error now? Okay. Next. Just to check if the length is actually working properly and if we can actually display the content multiple times, given it exists. So we're testing it out. And the system UI again stopped responding. We wait. And we hope that it starts responding to us super soon. Okay. Waiting. Perfect. So it's going to perform a reload, and it did. And soon we're going to see if there was any data, because it also takes some time to display it. Yeah, definitely taking some time there. So somehow docs dot length did not really return us with anything, as far as I can tell. And yeah, looks like the length was 0, given that it did not print the text even once. So there's also some people who are saying that it's meant to be documents, and essentially if we do let that remain, it does give an error. Okay, so it's meant to be docs. Yes, it's meant to be docs. Okay, docs not length. If it's 0, maybe we can switch to 1 and see the consequences there. All right, so that is extremely strange to see. Given, I mean, yes, this is still writing count of 1, and we still have normal text. So why would it suddenly not display anything at all? I mean, here I can leave this. We already did have a null check, so maybe we can just resort back to this old thing here, and yes. Obviously, it doesn't want to be the only. Yeah, perfect. So now let's just go back and see where we're at. Okay, also it looks like I might have to hand over the stream soon. So just in case I don't get a lot of time, it was a lot of fun trying to debug so much Firebase and touch stuff for today. It's been quite interesting. I'm really sad that we were not able to display a whole list here today, but we did connect our Firebase project together and we got a lot of stuff working, which after the pods issue on iOS, I wasn't expecting to happen. But yes, thank you for everybody who sticked around and for joining. And this has been loads of fun, and I hope to catch you all in other live streams that we do. And okay, this looks like we got a little bit more stuff happening here. Okay, valid value range is empty, which is well strange since it has the value of 1. Um, okay, so I wonder which index it's talking about that is that it couldn't get. Okay, one last try, and then I pass it over to the next person waiting in line to host that stream. Okay. Well, okay, we're printing something. Ah, interesting. So the problem lies with the where where did our range come from? Mm, that is I see. Okay. So docs.length is actually like it's 0. So yeah, uh it's hmm, it makes sense that there are yeah that this error exists. It makes sense, which means that the snapshot that we're getting is actually empty, which can also indicate that maybe let's look here, our collection name is users, which would explain the empty error that we're getting, and the fact that we did not see anything when we had this going on. Okay, so let's just see if we get 3 texts, then we at least know we're actually properly connected uh, here. Okay. So yeah, just going to leave the stream super soon. Hello, am I just trying to solve a hackathon problem or what? Not really. We decided on like a simple idea in the first stream, and we built a basic design, and we're now trying to implement bits of it in the limited 5 to 6 hour time we have. So doing everything live on stream so that it doesn't come across as pre-processed or rehearsed, and we actually get to go through all the weird stuff that happens when one gets into coding mobile applications. Okay, so it's reloaded ish, and now we are seeing some stuff happen here. Still hasn't finished processing, and but I'm pretty sure that that was a silly mistake, and this should definitely now end up displaying text like 3 times in a row, or not, or I am mistaken. um yeah, that would be a shame. mm, Maybe I also want to just move this and do that. Mm, or maybe if I just kept the counter of 1 live and see where it took the app. Mm, yep, ready for that. Okay. All right. I am sort of already running over time, so I am very sorry about that. Okay. Unfortunately, time restrictions will have to force me to stop here. But I will be I'll be sure to share results of my future debugging that I'm pretty sure I'm going to continue doing tonight with this project with all of you. And okay, so okay, before I leave, we can at least see that we I can indeed get all the data from the database. There is some uh, there's some stuff here that I can probably try to fix, but we are getting the data and we have the image URL, the languages, the name. So yeah, I think this should all end up working now. So we have docs index, and we just, okay, let's just comment all of it. And okay, so this should actually give us results. And okay, let's see. All right, that we can do. And what would it require here? Well, if this solves our problems, then I would love to just do this, but it doesn't seem to, which is strange, but like not that unexpected. But okay, yeah. At least we can see we've connected to the database. There are some typing errors, which probably if we more strictly told Flutter that okay, this is the document snapshot of say a user class, and we specified a user model, and then we tried to access name, it would know that okay, user has a name. So that's sort of the stuff that's missing here. With a little bit more time, it's possible, obviously. And well, yeah, thank you so much for sticking around today, and hope you all have a great rest of your day, evening, or night, based on wherever you are. And bye bye.